Quentin was just in here talking about, some of the nuances of that you're trying to teach him, especially, he kind of plays in somewhat of a similar role. What have you seen from him early on and kind of, what he can maybe become?
Yeah, just a very high IQ type player. Really understands how to play, and I can really shoot the ball. And I just think that he's in the process of, finding his footing in the league. And I mean, being a part of this team and this group, he understands what he has to do. And since I've been here in the Bay Area, every time I come in, I see him working. He's always working, whether it's in the weight room, on the court. He is consistent with his work, and he has the right tools to be successful because he listens, he works hard, and you can already see some flashes on the floor with him.
Steve and every player so far has emphasized what a seamless fit you look like in your first game. Did it feel seamless and easy to you, and if so, why?
It's I don't know if, in my eyes, I'm very hard on myself, and it was good. I know there's definitely ways that I can continue to be better, but they make it so easy for guys to come in here and kind of fit in with the group and what we're trying to do. And Draymond and Steph and obviously Coach putting us in positions to kind of go out there and play and fill the game out. So it has been an easy transition, but for me, I'm obviously still getting comfortable and familiar with everything. But I am encouraged, after that first game, some of the things that I saw and some of the things that I know that that we will all continue to get better at.
Steph used the word unspoken chemistry when talking about that give and go that you had with him early on. What's it been like for you to understand his movement, his constant movement, and finding him for open shots and so forth?
It's a level of awareness that, I've never really had to think about before like that. But when I'm on the floor with him, it's, the whole mindset is, trying to make the game easier for him. And for me, that is either getting him the ball or setting a good screen or doing anything that I can to make sure that our offense just kind of moves and flows. And he's such a smart player that it's easy to play off of him. And sometimes he'll kind of tell you what to do. Like, he passed me that ball, but I knew that it was like, he's going to cut. And so I guess that's the unspoken that he's talking about right there. He expected me to pass the ball, and I did. So, for me, it's just continuing to just play off his energy. He just does such a good job of terrifying everybody in the league every time he moves. So that's something that I'm going to look to take advantage of.
Yeah, what was your impression of playing with Draymond? Just first game, what was it like playing with him, and how do you see how you guys fit together on the court?
It's great to play alongside him just because he's a guy that's going to protect his teammates on the defensive end like no other, and he's gonna have our back. I felt like he had my back out there. He allowed me to go out and make some plays. I felt comfortable enough to go out and try to be aggressive and block some shots and do things, but he's there kind of supporting. And he's just he's the leader of the team, and he's somebody that I'm paying close attention to and really trying to pick stuff off of him and just really get a good feel with him out there. But playing with him, it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy, and I feel like it gives me a lot of freedom defensively.
Now, you mentioned the other day that you didn't really know these guys before signing here that well. You just competed against them a lot. What was it that you saw from the culture from a distance that made you think that you could fit in really well here?
The two things that I saw is consistency. With this group, they've been great for so long. And then just the way that they play, that ball movement, how the ball moves, and how these guys are, get into their spots, their positions, and really trying to play team basketball. It's something that I've always respected and enjoyed watching them. It's so difficult to defend that type of style, and that's the one thing that really got my attention here. And when you have guys that are just such smart basketball players, and a Draymond and a Steph, and making reads and the passes, they're already anticipating before the defense is even, so just all those things is what really was really attractive to me to come here.
For years, Looney was really well regarded for his screen setting. What are the keys to setting good screens, and are there any unique challenges to setting good screens in this ball movement, player movement, offensive system?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Looney's it's a great screener, and for me, I take pride in setting screens as well, and the whole thing is just understanding, what we're trying to accomplish with each screen and in different positions in the floor, and as I continue to learn the offensive system and everything, it's something that I'm being very mindful of and trying to be good at.
Steve said he wants to get you in some lineups with Kuminga just because, what your spacing can do for him. I'm curious your early impressions of playing with Jonathan and what he can do, kind of maybe off some of the space you're providing.
No, I think it's great. I feel like, JK with his athleticism and the way that he moves and how much pressure he generates on the rim, it's going to be great. I feel like with me and him out there, I feel like I'll be able to give him some space, and he probably won't always have an extra defender there. And if he does, then I'm going to be open, and we're going to either I'm going to shoot her or we're going to get a really good shot. So I think it's really good, and he's the type of player that's just fun to play with a guy like that, because he, the pace that he wants to play at, and how he wants to attack the basket. I actually enjoy playing it in that way. And I know we played very little last game, but I'm sure that we'll continue to play more and more and get more familiar with one another.
Al, back here. I apologize if you were asked this earlier. I missed the first few questions, but there's been a lot of chatter, obviously, about the age of the core. It's very unusual to have 4 starters or 4 key players, 35 or older. How do you view that equation? How much can that experience help you guys as you chase a championship? And what do you need to do to sort of, and Steve's talked about managing minutes and, handling it realistically. How do you view that whole dynamic?
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people make a big deal out of the core, and that's kind of understandable, but the way that I see our group, we have a lot of depth. I see a lot of guys that are working really hard, and guys that are very capable in our group. So I'm not worried about it just because of our depth. I feel like we have guys here that can step in and contribute and have big nights. And it's a very long season. And as you know, in the NBA, you're going to need the teams that usually have more depth, or the teams that are going to be more successful. So I'm sure that they'll figure out how they're going to play us and all those things. But the priority for me is to make sure that I stay healthy throughout the regular season, and that's my focus right now. And when we get to the postseason, that's a whole nother level.
And how important is it that some of that depth, Kuminga, Brandon, is really young, like 22, 23?
No, it's very important because, we don't have to feel like we don't have to hold back with any of them. We can just go, and they're going to get a lot of opportunities and a lot of chances. And for them, they have to be ready for that. They have to make sure that they're taking care of themselves, that they're preparing themselves, because it's going to be a lot. So that's how I think it's gonna work itself out.
Great, thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks. Thanks, Al. I was just wondering, when Quentin posts, when he blitzes the guard and you're on the backside, first of all, is that like a man or zone? And then how do you close out? What's your technique on closing out on that corner 3?
Yeah, so that's just a read that Quentin's making, and if he blitz, then we kind of have to rally behind him, and depending on the shooter it is on the corner, that'll determine my closeout. If I'm going to take away the shot or if I'm going to close out more flat and try to contain the ball a little more. It depends on personnel, and that's kind of how we play it.